Welcome back to EDH on a Budget. I'm your host, Iceman. Today we're going to be going over different ways blue can ramp with lands. And let's get started with Matic Manipulation. This card is only about 25 cents. It's a sorcery for 1 blue. And it says, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put one of those cards on the battlefield if it has the same name as a permanent. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It did not say the same name as one of your permanents, so your opponents actually can help make this work. That being said, I would only play this in mono blue decks or decks that have at least 20 islands. Ideally it'd be like higher, like 25 or 30 islands, to make sure that you're playing an island on one of your first 3 turns and that you have one more island in the next 7 cards, which is very likely if you have 25, 30 islands. And it will put it onto the battlefield, and it doesn't say tapped, so you do get that mana right away to use if you want. It's a pretty sweet looking card. Next up we have Retraced Image. This card is a little bit more pricey at $2. But it can possibly ramp you on turn 1 in heavy mono blue decks that have lots of islands. This 1 blue mana sorcery says reveal a card in your hand, then put that card into play if it has the same name as a permanent in play. So again, if an opponent has an island, if you have an island on the battlefield and in your hand, you can play this on turn 1 and literally ramp on turn 1. I wouldn't play this if you're, having less than 20 blue islands, but it doesn't say, it just needs to have the same name. So if it doesn't have to be an island, if you're playing a clone deck that says extra utilization in terms of if you were to bounce something, or there's also cards like Spike Hit that give something that's a creature and every creature name. So there's a little jankiness that you could do it that would create some pretty cool scenarios, but I would definitely consider that for your mono blue decks with lots of islands. Next up we have Manipulation. This card is 20 cents and it is a little bit more pricey on the mana. It costs 3 in a blue and has Replicate for 3 in a blue, where if you play this spell you can copy it for each time you pay the 3 in a blue. Choose target permanent and opponent controls. Search that player's library for a card with the same name and put it into play under your control. That player shuffles their library. So you do have to choose an opponent. The thing is, in Commander, most people will think this card gets 0 upside. There's nothing you could possibly do. But again, basic islands have the same name, so you can choose island, mountain, forest, plains, swamp, whatever. They probably have more than one of them, and this is a way to get lands onto the battlefield for you. 4 mana, a little pricey, but in spell slinger decks, they do have lots of ways to reduce mana cost of spells. So it's definitely something I would consider if you're playing something that has reduced mana cost for sorceries. And it is way to ramp in blue. And that is the first section of the blue land ramp. Next up we will have actually a couple of different ways to ramp in blue. I kind of admire these ways to ramp in blue. Is definitely out of the box for the next ones, so stay tuned. Please like, share, and subscribe.